How's it going, everybody? This is Arkin.
And this is Greg Peloquin, and you can call me G Pelly.
Today we're going to see a match between Joseph Naseef and Jesse Kerson. Joe's playing the Flood, 4-color Chronic Flooding, which is a deck he and I have been working on for a while now. Basic premise, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a Reanimator deck which uses the power of Chronic Flooding and discard outlets to get a ton of humans into your graveyard, reanimate Angel of Glory's Rise, and kill them in the same turn using Gold Knight Commander triggers to pump your entire team, and the combination of Izzet Staticasters and Zealous Conscripts to deal all the haste damage.
How similar is it to the list you played last week? We saw last week on camera.
It's extremely similar to the list we played last week. One thing different in the main deck right now was Joe cut a basic mountain from his deck, which may or may not be relevant depending on if he, depending on if Jesse has.
Sorry, I'm a bit of a cough.
Yeah, depending on if Jesse has Ghost Quarters. Other than that, it's pretty similar. His sideboard has a couple different options. He's running Sigardas now.
Yeah, that was a real cough, by the way.
Okay, well, congratulations. He's running Sigardas at the moment instead of the Gisellas I was trying out last week. But other than that, extremely similar.
And Jesse is playing an Esper deck. And for those of you who are not around for the Shards of Alara block, that is black, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably the screen says tokens, so we can probably expect some Sorens and Lingering Souls.
Right.
Probably some Jaces here and there.
Right, and this is fairly typical within Jesse's play style. He likes to play decks that have a higher top end, a really powerful late game spells.
Oh, and probably some Sphinx of Revelations, I would assume.
I would assume so. Mm-hmm.
Probably some usual stuff. Jesse's not one to. He'll always play solid cards. He doesn't get out of line and play crazy things like aerial predation or counterflux or chronic flooding like we do sometimes.
Yeah, and he doesn't usually play aggressive decks either.
Right.
Not that tokens can't present a quick clock if he's playing any crusade effects, the plump effects for his tokens, but typically not going to be on the aggro side of the matchup.
Looks like they both surveying their hands here.
Mm-hmm.
I see Joe looks like some lands,
Huntmasters,
Angel, Huntmasters. So his hand's full of humans and light on action.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like keeping this hand. Oh, he has no mana. He has only caverns for mana. You can't keep that.
I don't think so.
There's no way. There's no action.
He doesn't have any draw discard spells. He doesn't have a chronic flooding. It looks like he has Peddler, 3 Huntmasters, an Angel, and 2 Cavernous.
Yeah, I think you throw that one back. So Jesse likes to mulligan here.
Yeah, just snap keeps instead of throwing that one back.
That seems suspicious, in my opinion.
It's suspicious. Probably what's going through his head as someone who's piloted the deck is you have such a high chance of drawing a colored source quickly or drawing into a draw discard spell that you can keep sketch your hands that sometimes smooth out. This one's a bit...
Oh, so it looks like...
Ooh, that was a... I'd just like to point out we got some pretty cool tech there with our editor, Chris Cowan, giving us the human on the screen. So that one's naming Angel.
So Joe's on the play here. This makes that keep even more suspicious, in my opinion. I thought he was on the draw, but it's more suspicious of a keep.
That is a pretty suspicious keep.
Turn 1, 1/1. Cool.
Jesse's happy just playing his lands and passing.
Yeah,
no effects, which is pretty typical of Jesse Kerson. If he cast anything before turn 2 that wasn't a draw spell, I would be highly surprised.
There's a tragic stuff in his hand. Jesse elected not to use it there.
I think so. Joe's on the play.
Yes.
So he missed a land drop.
Yes.
Yes. And that's probably gonna cost him. I mean, the strength of his hand is in his Huntmasters.
And you can get back into it. I see a source here. It looks like Steam Vents.
Yeah, and he'll play that untapped. This is going to demonstrate the power of one of the core engines in our deck, which is Nightshade Peddler combined with Izzet Staticaster.
You just said Nightshade Peddler?
Peddler, sorry. Combined with Izzet Staticaster.
Well, it basically is once the Staticaster is soul bonded to it, right?
Yeah, once the Staticaster and the Peddler is soul bonded, the Staticaster can shoot things. It has Death Touch. It kills them immediately, and it deals damage to every creature with the same name that your opponent controls.
This must be a Lingering Souls.
And guess what's really good against tokens, Greg?
Might that be Izzet Staticaster?
Izzet Staticaster is incredibly good against tokens. I'm not sure if Joe knew the matchup he was playing before going into it. I think he did know, which might be indicative of his keep, because that's just so much value for Joe. He's going to be able to hose most of Jesse's spells just with that pair.
What's interesting, I don't know if Joe knew what Jesse was playing.
He did.
He did? Okay.
Yeah. He did not.
So he does have some time. I still don't like the keep though.
No, yeah, I'm missing a land drop is certainly not what you want to be doing. I mean, but I agree with you. I don't like the keep, but one of the cool things about this deck.
But this combo is putting Jesse on the back foot
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah. But one of the good things about the flood deck is that even when you're not flooding and reanimating, you can function
Instead of
kind
cast her
as
down
a
with the tragic slip.
yeah. You can function kind of as a mid-range deck.
So I'm sure there's another land on top for Joe, and we can get Master online. Why wouldn't there be a land, right?
Yeah, of course. He's gonna attack, crash him for 1, drop Jesse to 17. Probably Sulfur Falls. Yep, there it is.
Yep. I'm sure he told Jesse that he had it.
Yep. I'm sure he said something. Cast that Huntmaster.
Gains the
Only
life.
turn off. Only turn off.
Yeah,
curve.
just fine position.
Yeah. Pretty good.
I mean, if I knew what was on top of my deck, I'd make keeps like this too.
So I'm expecting something big from Jesse this turn, like a Planeswalker.
Or a Wrath would be fine too.
Yeah, Wrath would be fine. I see a Sever the Bloodline in Jesse's hand. That's an interesting spell at the moment.
Yeah. Would you cast it here maybe? Target Huntmaster and take it offline?
It depends on if he has something else to cast. Yep, he's just gonna get that Huntmaster. Which
those
is
exile effects are important against the flood.
Yep, against the flood, exiling creatures is really good because the flood generally gets those creatures back at some point.
Detention Sphere and Sever are both very good here.
Flame, those are those type of effects.
So Joe's got another Huntmaster here.
Have another one.
Yeah, boy.
He has another one in his hand. He's probably gonna stay aware of the fact that Jesse will be able to flash back that Sever at some point. Doesn't want to expose multiple spells to it.
Supreme Verdict here would be fantastic. Just something to.
It'd be good.
I don't know if Jesse plays it.
I know that Joe's hand has there's one of them. Joe's hand has multiple Angel Serenities in it.
Does it? Okay.
Angel Glorious Rise, sorry.
Okay. So Jesse could just flashback Lingering Souls here. Yeah.
I think that's what he's doing.
That seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
And because you gotta cast some things, you don't want the Master flipping.
Right, and I'm trying to see if Jesse has an instant
speed effect. I see planes and something else. I can't quite tell what it is.
Well, if Jesse doesn't really have anything to cast, Joe might consider just flipping his Huntmaster, taking down one of those tokens.
So attacking with both the 2/2s and then
passing.
Yeah. That's not the worst. He might not have a choice if he just keeps trying.
Well, he certainly shouldn't play his other Huntmaster, seeing that if Jesse makes another land drop, he'll have the flashback of Sever the Bloodline available to him.
Right.
Which would be pretty bad. So he's
everybody
with
everybody. Whole team in. So I like throwing both the spirits in front of the Huntmaster here.
Mm-hmm. That's probably what Jesse's gonna like to do.
Yeah, that's got to be it. So Jesse will drop to 9 from this attack.
Yeah, take 5, go to 9.
And even just casting a motley crew of 2/2s and 1/1s can get there sometimes.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about Huntmaster of the Fells and Staticaster Peddler. You can just control a lot of the mid-range matchups, the creature matchups.
5, so we have. Sorry, his hand is a Huntmaster and 2 Angels and something else.
Mm-hmm. So we got another Cavern Naming Angel, which now gives him the colored sources he needs to hardcast those Angel Glorious Rise in his hand if he makes the land drops.
So 24, make another wolf.
Make another wolf.
All right.
It's sometimes you just get a stream of
Huntmasters. So at this point, if you have another land drop, I almost like just getting rid of the all of the wolves here. Oh, hey.
Temporal Mastery.
Turn.
Now that is an interesting choice. What do you think about that card in this deck?
Not sure. I could see having a bunch of tokens in play, casting it, and then just keep going.
Right.
I could see that being relevant.
Right.
All right. So what do you do? So at this point, I think if you know how to play, you mill yourself, right? And that the Huntmaster should flip here. No, not yet. Not yet. Sorry. You should mill himself there. Get some flashback cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Like worst case, Flickering Souls.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a missed opportunity because with the Drown Yard, you want to mill yourself for as long. You want to mill yourself early on to get some action in your graveyard, and tokens should go down.
Yep. So he flashes back that Sever the Bloodline and hits 3 wolf tokens. Not terrible.
So he'll drop to and cast Poison Island. Okay.
Yeah. But Jesse is low on resources, and Joe always has the option of flipping his Huntmaster and presenting a 2-turn clock.
I don't hate the play here of just playing a land and then attack with both your guys and say go. I think it's a low play anyway.
Yep.
Just 2 Angels, I think.
Attack with both guys, drop you to 6, pass, try to flip my Huntmaster, try to drop you to 4.
I think he will be successful. I don't see how he doesn't.
Yeah. Unless Jesse has... No, he doesn't. He doesn't really have many effects that stop him. Jesse draws his card, taps it on the table a couple times, thinking about if it gets him out of the situation.
That's all lands.
And that's all she wrote. So Joe really didn't do any part of the comboing off of this deck. He didn't have any Izzet Charms, he didn't have any Chronic Floodings, no Faithless Lootings. He just presented a stream of efficient, aggressive creatures that were well matched against what Jesse was doing, and it got him there.
Well, Jesse wasn't really doing much of anything.
Yeah, well, sometimes that happens with the decks Jesse chooses to play. Sometimes you just sit there and dirtle around.
Actually, I've had that happen a few times where, what does dirtle mean?
Oh, okay. Let me
Tell our
translate this.
listeners.
I don't think I could give a good textbook definition. Do you have one?
It means it means what Jesse just did. It means it
Okay.
means another term might be spinning your wheels, doing
Right.
nothing productive,
Mm-hmm.
just twiddling your thumbs, sitting there knitting a sweater and getting essentially nowhere.
Well, knitting a sweater could be very productive. You could gift it for the holiday season, for example.
Would you like a sweater with reindeer on it and little bells?
No, I'm currently celebrating Hanukkah.
All right, so we won't talk about the sweaters we want for Christmas.
And Hanukkah.
So sideboards.
Yeah, sideboard technology. Joe, I know, has things like Centaur Healers. He has Sigardas. He's got Ray of Revelations, which probably comes in.
Yeah, to deal with
Detention Sphere, all of Jesse's pump effects, and Jesse might be bringing Rest in Peace from the sideboard.
Yeah, Jesse does have lingering souls. I see a Drug Skull Reaver coming in, so you can potentially shut off half of your lingering souls that way.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay.
And Joe, I mean, other things that Joe has access to from his sideboard are counter spells like Dispel and Negate. Joe probably gonna be bringing in Negate here, but I'm not really sure.
Just some Supreme Verdicts and Rest in Pieces. Honestly, you could probably just bring. It's probably fine for just to bring a Rest in Peace if it's in the sideboard, because it hurts Joe a whole heck of a lot more.
Yeah.
But Joe should probably just bring in the rays here.
Yeah, the rays come in. Negates maybe coming in. Yeah, negates are going to be coming in. They hit planeswalkers. They hit all of his token producing spells. They hit any hate like Detention Sphere, Rest in Peace, Sever the Bloodline. Negate's just a really versatile spell.
Yeah, Joe has the more proactive deck here.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesse, there's some Rest in Peace. Jesse's pondering bringing those in here.
Right, and if I remember correctly, when you were commentating on my match from FNM last week, you were talking about how the Flood is a proactive Reanimator deck.
Yes, in other words, what's going to do? That means it's doing something most of the time that's more powerful than the other person is doing. Because you can power through like, okay, Restoration Changer, okay, that's right to us. You can get through that. That doesn't so much. That's another we talked last week about ways to go over the top of Thragtusk, which is seen as a ubiquitous card in this format. It just shut down a lot of aggro decks, and it's a powerful card in and of itself. Right. The Flood allows you to just go right through what they're doing.
Exactly. And post-sideboard, I'm assuming that Jesse's going to become more controlling. He can't really overcommit to his token strategy with things like Is It Staticaster running around.
Yeah.
He wants to try to run Joe out of resources, try to stop him from getting an engine online, and then grind him down.
Yes. Right. Absolutely. I still like Joe's chances overall in this matchup.
Oh yeah. As a pilot of the Flood myself, I think that when you're playing against token-based strategies that are trying to grind you down, you have so many resources available to win the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things is the Flood can be shut down pretty quickly by the right anti-graveyard cards.
A well-timed Rest in Peace is the worst card for us to see.
Us, so it's like a team now, huh?
Well, yeah, we've been developing this amongst a few people, yourself included.
I played it for one FNM.
Yeah, but you had some good insight. Yeah, so Rest in Peace is kind of the scariest card against us in terms of our combo element of the deck.
If tournament matches were like Counter-Strike, I'd join the terrorists for a week.
Yeah, well...
Sometimes terrorists win, right?
They won in Nagoya.
Oh yeah, so tell me about that.
Well, this is interesting. I woke up this morning to a text from one of my friends saying, hey, the deck you've been developing just won a Grand Prix in Japan. Mr. Okita piloted a Chronic Flooding Angel Warriors Rise deck to the first place in Grand Prix Nagoya in Japan. Humorously, I looked over his list. It was a list that we had started with a couple months ago, sort of our preliminary unrefined deck. And good for him for taking it down. It looks like he had the right matchups and played pretty tightly. But our analysis of his specific card choices were that it was not the best way to build a deck. We've sort of advanced past that build. But hey, it worked for him, and maybe he knows something we really don't.
Well, it's on everyone's radar now.
It's on everyone's radar.
So that's something to watch. Now, so Jesse's going to play here. So what kind of hands do you think Jesse's going to want to keep?
He's going to want to keep hands, especially that have some sort of sideboard hate, something to interact with Joe's combo strategy. Because if you can't interact with that part of the Flood quickly, the flood can really just flood you out, you know.
Right.
I mean, one of the one of the connotations of the nickname that I assigned to it is the Halo 1 enemy from the original video game was the Flood, which is just a ton of little monsters that suddenly appear out of nowhere and kill you in
All right,
one,
so I
one
see
little shot.
Ultimate Price, which I'm not a huge fan of here.
No, Ultimate Price doesn't really pull you ahead in this matchup. It's not exiling things, so it's
I would definitely get rid of the Ultimate Price there. So Jesse keeps, and so is Joe.
Mhm.
And we have a colored mana source
on turn 1. So
progress.
usually Steam Vents in any draw spell and you're keeping a hand.
So I see Huntmaster. I see Joe consulting the phone in the lap there. I wonder if we can read the text from here. I wonder if it's possible.
So should we go to the judge?
I'll be sure to read them out loud if I can ever see any of them.
In your judging capacity, what would you say about having a phone in
at this
lap?
level, it's probably okay, but for tournaments, the general rule is you're not supposed to consult a text message or take a call unless your opponent's okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get advice and that kind of thing.
Right. So Jesse and Joe both just continue making their land drops.
Sorry to interrupt here, but I've been told that there's also some military applications for having it as well. So that you can, if you're on call or that kind of thing.
That's very true. For those of you who don't know, Joe is an active member of the Army. He's stationed at Fort Lewis McChord, and he is allowed to have a personal mobile device on and at any time.
Because he's on call, he could be asked to serve our country at a moment's notice.
If you've ever been to a bigger event like a Star City Games Open or Grand Prix, they will usually make an announcement about active military personnel allowing them to have some sort of device.
So, so anyway, what we saw Jesse attempt to Tameo and it immediately get negated.
Right, and that's a good use of negate.
Because it looks like Joe's missing lands here.
Yep, so that's Tameo would be very bad for him.
Yeah, it puts him behind. Statcaster's not really doing anything yet besides deterring Jesse from doing anything, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. So we've got an N7 is a charm, draw 2 cards.
We're gonna loot. We're gonna dissipate that.
He might just respond with a Sphinx's Revelation while he has the chance. I'm not sure what he's going to do.
That's not a bad play. But he lets it go.
He lets it go. Let's see what Joe discards. I know that Jesse's hand has more lands than Sphinx's Revelation in it.
Okay.
Discarding an Angel of Glory's Rise.
That's not very good. And what else? So he's thinking about it, so... Okay, so he's got another land in his hand, obviously. You might have just drawn 2 lands off the Izzet Charm.
I'd just like to point out for style points that about 99% of the cards that we're seeing from Joe are foiled.
So that makes them more powerful, correct?
Yeah. Certainly more powerful.
All right, so there's the 4th land.
Mm-hmm.
Now
all of his lands are foiled.
And
Huntmaster is foiled.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I think it's an important
thing. They have special powers.
Yeah. So Jesse, do you think he's going to try to resolve Sphinx's Revelation for 3?
And why not?
There he goes.
And why not?
Draw 3, gain 3 life. One of the defining spells in the form right now.
And
neither player is really presenting too
so
much of
we're tapped out with Jesse. We're checking for miracles on each one of them. That's very important.
Oh, he likes to keep his habits.
I do the same thing. It's all about forming a good habit. And there's the Terminus, but timely Terminus that has set Joe back.
Mm-hmm.
Terminus is also very good against your deck.
It is. It is very good against our deck.
Fortunately, it's fallen out of favor in this format too.
The Flood is one of the few decks where when you get Terminus, you have to really think about the order of the creatures you're putting on the bottom, because there are games I've had where I actually make it through my whole library, and it's important.
And there's Tameo, and Joe's immediately in the back foot here, so we target. Doesn't think it matters all that much, does it?
No, here I probably just target the Steam Vents.
You sure? I think I go for the Heron Harbor, shut off the green.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter all that much though, because I think
the cavern's naming
humans. So you can cast all the like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has another green. Well, it probably makes the most sense, really. And there's Nightshade Peddler.
There's Nightshade Peddler from.
That's looking pretty pathetic now.
Yeah, sometimes you just have a low Nightshade Peddler, and there's nothing much you can do about that. But
he says, "I'm a 1/1."
He says, "I'm a 1/1." That's true. What is Jesse looking to cast here? He hasn't really put any pressure on.
Well, he's correctly controlled Joe for now. It's
exactly.
What you want to do.
Like we were saying for sideboard, Jesse tries to adopt the controlling role.
So what I like doing here is trying to ultimate Tameo.
Yeah, I see he's got a Sorin, Lord of Innistrad in his hand. It's a good one.
Great.
Would you go for that?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Tap, cast a Sorin, tap down the, make a token, then tap down the same land, and just keep building up Tameo until you get to 8. Because having ultimate Tameo and just keep machine gunning ultimate price repeatedly.
Yeah.
Well, that'll shut you down too.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Or if he has any sort of counterspell, that's another good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I just like keeping maximum pressure here.
Right. Something to point out, though, is that the Flood has multiple Zealous Conscripts.
And I'll split prices early here.
Mm-hmm.
I like saving it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think burning it there is correct.
I don't think burning it on a 1/1.
Is this supposed to be on Master?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, the Flood has access to Zealous conscripts.
Right.
And with that cavern naming human, it will resolve. So Jesse should maybe keep in mind that if he gets one of his planewalkers up to ultimate, he might just get conscript.
True.
Yeah. I've done that before with my conscripts. It's a powerful play. So here we see Jesse considering his options again.
I see Supreme Verdict.
Mm-hmm. He's probably going to go for Verdict then, right? He's attacking with his token, which it doesn't look like can profitably trade with any of the creatures. So does that mean
I see 2 Verdicts and a Revelation there.
Yeah, so he's just going to post-combat Verdict, and he decided he wanted to gain the life.
I'm actually okay here with the play of, well, you got actually tap. I think you can safely tap down the Huntmaster, make another token, and then Revelation instead.
Okay.
It seems risky, but I think it's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then let Joe commit more of the board.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, we're gonna verdict now.
Yeah, but here's the verdict. So that's why Jesse attacked with his token. He just wanted to gain some life, marginal value.
And Jace, we got the trifecta online.
Trifecta, 3 different planeswalkers working in conjunction.
What are we seeing here? 3 cards, and they are Terminus, Lingering Souls, Planes. So it's like that because Terminus is so bad.
Yeah, so he's definitely.
I think I just take the Terminus here.
Yeah, definitely. Your planeswalkers are effectively winning you the game. You don't need a Lingering Souls.
Of note, for the 3 cards you don't pick with Jace, the 2 you don't go on the bottom, not the graveyard, which I see a lot of people. I've done it too.
Let's see where they go. Jesse correctly puts it.
It would be a lot better in this case flip to the graveyard because you could flashback Lingering Souls. Yep.
There's an activation of Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. We're going to see another 1/1, and Jesse is now in a pretty commanding position.
Yeah, for the time being. Well, the Flood can turn that around in a heartbeat.
It can. It's without any graveyard hate. There's a lot of options.
Like rest in peace here. Just put the nail in the coffin. I think. There's another Huntmaster.
There's another Huntmaster that fell. So lots of those. Okay. And at this point, I think I caught a glimpse of Zealous conscripts in Joe's hand.
Also a Sigarda.
Oh wow!
But he doesn't have the 5th land yet, so we can't get to either of them.
Mm-hmm. So
Sigarda's good here because it can't be Tamiyo'd. It can't be.
Yeah. Yep. And he can't cast currently a conscripts if Jesse continues locking down one of his lands.
Yeah, but here we're getting the dangerous 8.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be it's very, very, very dangerous here. So now he's making the block.
And does that mean Jesse's going to go for another Supreme Verdict, seeing as he wanted to gain the life? There it is.
Yeah.
Another Supreme Verdict.
So what are we doing with Tamiyo here?
I'm not sure. He's going up to 8.
Yeah, okay, this is real risky.
This is risky.
So Joe hits a land here. Someone's getting a Tamiyo ultimate.
Right.
That's like a little early Christmas present bundled up, all nice and neat.
Exactly. And we'll see what Joe plays. There's Jace activating, Sorin activating, Tamiyo activating. That's a lot of pressure.
All right, so if we hit the land here, I think we would just immediately cast it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what I just thought of? Do you know what Sorin, Lord of Innistrad's ultimate does?
Oh, he'd get it right back, wouldn't he?
No. Sorin, Lord of Innistrad ultimate deals damage and destroys planeswalkers, and then you gain control of them.
Interesting.
So if Joe can get Sorin and ultimate it, he would be able to wipe Jesse's planeswalkers and then gain control.
Well, but you won't have that option now. He has the emblem, so it's a lot worse.
Yeah, how would that stack up? Because it says if they go to the graveyard, then you gain control of it, right? And since they would never go to the graveyard with the emblem, then it doesn't work.
So what do we think here? So Tamiyo gives him that's just some lands. Okay, that's nothing special. So Tamiyo would say that I think that they trigger. But the Tamiyo's the triggered ability, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It says you have no maximum hand size.
And then when it goes to graveyard, so here's what happens. So I had the same question, a judge question, and Joe's skipping it up, by the way, because Jesse's firmly in control. But the way this works is Undying. This is the same as the triggered ability from Striker guys.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is Sorin's complete ability resolves before any triggers resolve. So you destroy them, put them in the graveyard, put them in play on your side. Then the triggers would go on the stack.
Right. Okay.
So it actually does not work out that way.
It doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't work out as well as it works out well for the Sorin player, not for the emblem.
That's too bad.
But like the best things are already gone. So it's still kind of not what you want to be doing. That line was clutch. He needed that 5th land.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah. All right, so Joe's now on the play, and Jesse should really be bringing in those rest in pieces.
Yeah, I hope he has them.
So
I'm
just
sure he
making
does.
just making a last minute change. You can't quite tell what it is. Maybe it's just in response to some of the things you saw Jesse doing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on the play, you kind of tune your deck to be a little more combo oriented, a little more
Well, you've
aggressive.
got to respond to what he's doing too.
Yeah,
So maybe Joe picked up something from what Jesse was doing and said,
yeah.
okay, well, I thought you might do this, this, and this, because you have to guess how he's going to board.
Mhm. And it's difficult. I mean, Joe has a lot of options. Another one of the things I'm not sure if it's really applicable in the Esper matchup is when you're playing with negates. Negates are a lot better when you're on the play
Mm-hmm.
because it allows you to negate their turn two play.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on the draw, it's slightly worse. So Joe on the play in this third game might be bringing in more counter spells
Okay.
from his board.
No, looks like what another play Joe could have made here was to take the Storm instead of the Tameo, and then destroy both the Tameo and the Jace and get both of those on his side instead,
Yeah,
and then cancel out all of them.
that's kind of what I was thinking he was
Okay.
going to be doing, right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
so I apologize for missing some of this stuff. These interactions don't come up in a typical game.
Yeah, no, I was saying that he was probably gonna grab that Sorin and destroy planeswalkers and then gain control of them, hopefully, and then have
Yeah.
a little army of planeswalkers for his own.
Yeah, your army is now my army.
And Sorin has a pretty powerful ultimate, but it's very rare that you see it come into play in a game.
Yeah, I don't think I think I activated it once when I played a ton of the Planeswalker decks that incorporate Sorin.
Mm-hmm.
Have,
The Super Friends decks.
yeah, and usually your opponents aren't very fun and they scoop before you're done beating them.
Yeah, that's no fun. That's no fun. Although playing the Flood online, I wish opponents scooped before I beat them because it's one of the longest combos to actually play out because there's so many triggered abilities that you have to work with.
So why is that different? Now Moto is
Magic Online.
so
Right.
or, yeah, it stands for Magic Online Digital Objects, but yes, it's Magic Online. Now what's different about Magic Online, if you haven't played Magic Online much, is a lot of the triggers go on the stack and are resolved, and you can see them resolve. So it's actually a good learning tool, so you can see how the stack
It's
works.
a great learning tool, but the big difference is that there's no verbal shortcuts. You can no longer tell your opponent, I'm maintaining priority, I'm putting 25 Nightshade Peddler triggers onto the stack here. I'm putting 25 Gold Knight Commanders triggers on the stack here, you know?
You have to click through all of them
You
and
have
order
to
them.
click through all of them to put them onto the stack. Once they're onto the stack, you can start auto-yielding to them and going through them faster, but that still takes a long time. I mean, I've taken up to 6 or 7 minutes just getting through my own combo.
And auto yielding is basically saying, okay, in the future, I'm going to do nothing when this trigger would resolve.
And the reason that that's relevant on Magic Online is because all of your matches are timed.
So
it's a chess clock,
yeah.
and you have 25 minutes to beat your opponent. If you time out, you lose the match.
Even if you're ahead, even if you won a game, you lose the match. You're done.
You're done.
It behooves you to play quickly. And the decks that require a lot of triggers are a disadvantage. Like Elves is a good example.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's go back to the match at hand here. Sorry, we're talking a little too much about triggers and Magic Online.
While they're side win.
Yeah, so, okay. So, Joe will be on the play here. Looks like they're getting the match underway.
So, Joe on the play is going to be looking to just go quickly for his combo, bury Jesse really fast. He's got the resource advantage being on the play. He's going to try to keep a better hand than Double Cavern, 3 Huntmasters. But Jesse's looking...
Craig, Huntmasters, and Josai.
Staticaster.
That seems like my
and
pick
looking
here.
for Jesse, I see Sphinx's Revelation, a couple lands, a Supreme Verdicts, and it might have been a Rest in Peace, or it might have been an Intangible Virtue. I couldn't tell, but it looks like a white enchantment.
Here's a Hallowed Fountain.
It's Hallowed Fountain tapped.
So, yeah, Joe's hand looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's immediately obvious is there's no negate, so
yeah,
the
no
rest
turn.
piece can get there right here if they want.
Yeah, so Joe doesn't have any blue mana yet, which is pretty important for the first couple turns for the Flood.
Just passes, plays a Ghost Quarter.
Mm-hmm. Ghost Quarter, that's going to be an important one.
Why is that?
Well, like I said, a difference that Joe made in his deck between last week's FNM and this week is that he took out the basic land because we haven't been seeing much Ghost Quartering.
Oh.
But when you Ghost Quarter a deck with no basic lands, it turns into straight up destroy target land. Sacrifice Ghost Quarter, destroy target land.
See, it seems a lot better, doesn't it?
It seems a lot better.
Well, that Lingering Souls couldn't be any worse time because we know the Staticaster is sitting right there.
Yeah, Staticaster's going to come down.
Yeah, and Cavern on Human, we can see that from the handy-dandy little graphic. So Joe's, now because Staticaster has Flash, Joe's taking his time.
Did he not cast Staticaster after Jesse cast Lingering Souls?
Yeah, no, he didn't. Not yet.
Okay.
So
So
he's even taking 2 here.
I wonder why. Is he waiting for the flashback to get maximum value?
Yeah, I don't hate that play.
Yeah, it's
actually.
okay, but I mean, if you end step,
you're not racing this deck.
yeah,
That's fine.
there you are.
Yeah,
there it goes.
I'm okay with that.
That's
I
fine.
give Jesse all the time in the world to overcommit. He probably won't, but you give the one thing you want to do is give your opponent an opportunity to make every mistake they can.
That's true. That's very true.
And in this case, the 2 damage, I think, doesn't matter all that much.
Nope.
Because
we're gonna see an end step. Is it Charm from Joe? Draw 2, discard 2.
So Joe probably looking to get some cards in his graveyard here because we're a little short on things in the graveyard. It's Revelation.
Jesse's gonna respond with Sphinx's Revelation
and tapping out.
Tapping out to gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. What do you think about that?
Not sure. I guess you want to resolve it in case there's another negate or something. There's another negate. That might blanket. So we might as well use this window to try to resolve it.
That's true. That's true. In fact, slight anecdote. I remember one of the first times I was playing in a competitive FNM. It was against you, and you were playing mono red, and I was playing counterspells, and you taught me that end stepping counterspells of your own in response to my end step effects was a way to kill me, and I hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you time your spells is important. So now it looks like the engine is in full swing. We have a Faithless Looting.
Discarding Huntmaster the Fells, and discarding. He's thinking about discarding a Sulfur Falls. It looks like.
So yeah, you immediately want to discard humans with the Flood.
Yeah.
So in this case, that's obviously not a human. So there's probably no more humans in this hand.
I agree that you most of the time want to discard humans, but sometimes it's a delicate balance. If you're not sure that you're going to hit the combo, if you're being pressured a lot, then it's sometimes a difficult choice.
So here's a land we're paying 2. I see Huntmaster in his hands. Okay, so he wants to get Huntmaster going now. I guess that's fine too. I mean, it looks like he has no abundance of land, so that seemed correct to actually get the land out of there. Looks like we're probably heavy on land. Oh, he doesn't even cast Huntmaster. He says pass.
I can't really see what's in Joe's hand, but there's any number of things that could lead him to do that.
All right, so what's Jessica do with this?
Okay.
So what's Jessica do with these newfound cards here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Jesse's going to do. Joe passing leads me to believe that he's sitting on counter magic because Jesse has any number of powerful options he could go for here. But I'm not exactly sure what Jesse's.
He's got a lot of options. He's probably go through the correct lines here to figure out what he's going to do. He's got something. It's a matter of figuring out when there's another Revelation, another Lingering Souls. I can't tell what that is. It looks like a thing twice maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to know when you're playing against decks like the Flood. You have to get a feel for when they can combo off, when they can do something really big, and when they're not. It doesn't look to me like Joe is close to straight up killing Jesse. He could have a couple lines that leads to it, but it's probably going to take him at least a turn or two more. I see Terminus in his hand. You see Terminus in his hand? Okay.
So I honestly don't hate the play of land go here. Just if you're not doing anything, let I mean why let Joe make use of the instance cards he's gonna have? Well, I guess you get Cycle Visit Charm.
Right.
But I don't hate the play of just doing nothing here. Or land nothing.
I agree.
And,
depends on what else is in Jesse's hand.
Anything involving casting Lingering Souls though is a big mistake. He just discards.
He just discards his Lingering Souls and passes the turn. So now he's at 7 cards.
And that tells Joe immediately he's short on.
So Joe plays a Temple Guard and takes the 2 life. So we'll see what he does with all of the mana. Is he going to start by casting a Huntmaster, leaving up Sulfur Falls, Rootbound Crag, which could be Negate, could be Is It Charm?
Yeah, he's leaving up some options here. So he's paying the 2 life here. Again, the 2 life not mattering all that much in this matchup.
No, not very much, especially with Huntmaster gaining you.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that play.
Yeah,
so Joe's got some options, and he waited on the Huntmaster to give himself the option.
So now Joe's going to be given the option to negate it, but he chooses not, or try to counter it. He chooses to wait for a maybe more important spell, like a Rest in Peace.
Yeah, let him draw all the cards he wants. There's certain cards you want to be countering of his.
That's true.
I'm okay with just letting him do nothing. It looks like Jesse missed the lands. You probably he did. He has Glacial Fortress.
Yeah,
okay.
He hit at least one land.
So we're gonna play that immediately.
Up to 6.
All right. So he has Detention Sphere in hand too, and Terminus.
Wow, that's a lot. Do you tap out for one of those? Tap down.
I'm not a fan of Terminus here, just because it looks suspicious. There's not enough of a clock. You need to cast something. Even Flashing Back Lingering Souls isn't all that bad here. Well, okay, no, it's bad, but it's bad, but it keeps the Huntmaster from flipping.
Yeah, would you just cast your Supreme Verdict? Maybe?
I'm okay with rolling out playing Detention Sphere here, actually. I'm fine with that.
Right.
Just burn the count. Is It Charm won't do it, but negate will. Burn the negate.
I agree. There's a lot of other things that you do. I mean, I see Ultimate Price in Jesse's hand. This is a good example of why that's not a great card.
It doesn't do anything. Oh, yeah, you can kill the wolf.
You can kill the wolf, and you can kill Angel of Glory's Rise. But if Angel of Glory's Rise is in play, you're usually losing.
He drew an island.
Mm-hmm. He did draw an island. This is Jesse taking a long time to make a decision.
Well, he's got a lot of options, and he does kill the wolf.
And he does just kill the wolf.
Okay.
So
and
that's a way to
there's
stop.
there's
Tragic Slip targeting is it Staticaster.
All right. Staticaster offline, and then Lingering Souls. Oh,
Yeah.
nope. Going for the
full trifecta.
So I almost want to. Oh, and let's not resolve too. So Joe just saying, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that devastating.
No, it's not.
Bide your time.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Joe's graveyard, he's got 2 Staticasters and a Huntmaster and an Angel, which is a good portion of the cards he needs to combo off.
Thragtusk.
And he discards Thragtusk and Nightshade Peddler.
So the full the Soulbond
Interesting
combos
to see
in the
the
graveyard.
Thragtusk in here. Joe bringing it in from the sideboard because it's a good value spell, difficult for control decks to deal with profitably. And he hard casts one from his hand.
Go up to 21.
Yep, going up to 21.
All right, so Jesse needs to answer that now.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the good positions that you can take as the Flood player. You can start attacking from multiple angles. You can present a threatening amount of cards in your graveyard and a threatening board presence.
Here's another line. If you don't think he's playing basics, it's possible to Ghost Quarter the Sulfur events here if you need to resolve something. Yeah, and if he taps for a blue and it's a speed, go to combat and let it drain out.
So Jesse taps out for Drogskol Reaver, and Negate or an Exit Charm are not going to help Joe in that situation, so that one resolves.
And the Thragtusk won't either.
Yeah, Thragtusk won't
That's
either.
a card that must die. So
it's a double strike flying.
Angel of Glory's Rise is great here because you can flash it back and then just kill it immediately. So Joe's going to need to get in and bury the rights in the yard here.
Right, so he flashes back his Faithless Looting.
Yep. Yeah, so yeah, he has Unburial Rights. He'll be in a great position because he can Unburial Rights the Angel, and there's the Unburial Rights. So we can clear the.
You can clear the Drogskol Reaver. That's
absolutely.
an important one.
Yep.
When you reanimate Angel, you get the powerful combination of Nightshade Peddler and Is It Staticaster back, Soulbond them, and you have your little machine gun again.
There's the Angel, and
here come the fireworks.
However, we know there's a Terminus in Jesse's hand.
That's true. So Joe's not going to be able to kill him this turn, but he's putting pressure on him.
Correct. So he's going to gain 2 more life, get another wolf.
Soulbond the Is It Staticaster and the Nightshade Peddler.
Correct. And then clear the Drogskol Reaver out of there and get in for 4. 5. Correct. I can count, I promise.
It's quite alright. That's probably his play.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
There's Staticaster. Kill your Drogskol Reaver.
Yep.
Or Dragskol Reaver, if we could hear Joe talking. And attack for 5.
Are you making fun of him mispronouncing cards?
Yeah, I mean, Joe just has a really unique way of pronouncing cards. He assigns cards his own pronunciations, and he sticks with them. I mean, that's how it works.
Does it bother you? Does it bother you when you correct him and he keeps doing it?
No, he can.
I bet it does.
Nah, he can pronounce it as many ways as he
wants. Anyway, predictably, Jesse has the Terminus, and all Joe's creatures go to the bottom. And it kind of resets him a little bit there, puts him back to square one.
It resets him, and without a chronic flooding, there's not a lot of velocity that you can generate.
And there's the flashback Lingering Souls. Now he's waiting for the.
There's a beast token, by the way.
Oh right, from the Thragtusk. Okay. Yeah. But he's waiting for the Staticaster to go away.
Yep.
Now
to go away and he flashes it back.
It's now Adult Swim time. The kiddies have left the pool. And there's another Thragtusk. Hey, we said that in concert.
Yeah, we did. That's cute.
Isn't it? There's the 5, and we keep open.
Joe diligently leaving up Negate. Now that I see
now, so again, if I'm Jesse, I like using that Ghost Quarter to try to. Oh, he's got 2 blue sources now. So but
even so, if he has no basics, it drops him down to 1 open mana.
And only the spells on counter he can have.
That's true.
And you can force counters. You can force spells through.
Force non-instance through.
Yeah, if he has a spell you need to resolve.
We'll see if Jesse does that.
I can't tell what's in his hand at the moment.
He's separating his lands. Maybe he's looking at his Ghost Quarter.
Okay, he's considering his lines again. I see. Can't tell what that is.
He's tapping 4 for Sever the Bloodline, targeting Thragtusk. Guessing Joe lets it resolve. I don't think he needs to burn a negate on this spell. Oh, he's going to negate it. He's going to keep the pressure on.
I imagine so. Now Jesse can just double block here and then go again.
Right.
Or actually, what I like doing here is flashing back the other Lingering Souls and killing the Thragtusk and then flashing back Sever and getting both the beasts.
Right.
That seems like a fine play here. So I think he has one more souls in his graveyard, doesn't he?
He does.
Okay, so we're gonna flashback Lingering Souls here. That's why
I think he does.
Yeah, and I just set up some blocks to get the Thragtusk down to beast form.
Yep.
Get it in the beast mode.
There's an ultimate price.
That works too.
That works too. There's beasts and come in for 2.
And
Take you to 19.
Flashback the beast, Lingering Souls there. That'll work.
Now we've got our own little army.
Yep.
And with Sever the Bloodline in the graveyard, Jesse is not too worried about 2 beasts on the battlefield. Joe crashes in for 6.
I mean, block, not sure why.
Me neither.
Well, I guess if you're worried about the Sever being countered.
I guess, yeah.
But there's very few ways Joe can actually do that. I just... Okay, now Joe leaving all his mana up, and he has 2 or 3 cards there, I can't tell. No, shuffling them around frantically, though. I'm not sure if that's a tell or not. But...
I mean, when you leave all your mana up as a flood player, the only 2 effects you can have are Staticaster and counter spells and Is It Charm. So I'm not sure which one he has, or maybe he's just sitting on nothing.
Okay, there's a Supreme Verdict.
Yep. He's going to Supreme Verdict instead of try to flashback his Sever the Bloodline.
Yeah,
doesn't want to worry about a counter spell.
I'm not a fan of that. I just like getting rid of the... Because, I mean, worst comes to worst, you can just throw them onto the bus as chump blockers later. If you're in the worst position possible.
And especially since Jesse chumped the turn before, he's not at a low life total. If his Sever gets countered, he falls to 10, and then he tries again.
And now he has no pressure.
Yeah.
At all. I can't see.
Looks like Jesse top decked the Sorin.
I see a Sorin and a couple of Supreme Verdicts still there. That Sorin's a pretty nice... No, that's something. I see Joe has...
I think it's a Sorin.
No, here's a point of interest. Joe has a bunch of lands in his hand, but he's not playing them all. Why? Because... Well, you know why. Because he has Faithless Looting and Is It Charm, so he wants to be able to draw more cards. He wants to have something to discard to them in case he draws quality cards.
Yeah, and on top of that, Joe's already at 8 lands in play, and that's really what you need for the Flood. You don't need too many more than that. So
I mean, seven's a flash play, right?
7 is the hard cast of Angel, so keeping lands in your hand at least gives you the appearance of having something to do.
Correct. So Josie checking for miracles, finding none.
Although there's no miracles you probably want to cast besides Temporal Mastery at this point.
Right. You could have an entreat.
You could have an entreat.
Probably not.
This game is just grinding on and on. It's a difficult once a control. One of the dangers.
Chronic flooding. I see a chronic flooding. No, he just drew it. It's a chronic flooding.
There it is. It's probably gonna equip it onto a red source.
Equip it? You mean enchant?
Enchant it onto a red source. I don't know what I'm talking about. But Ghost Quarter. There it is. Ghost Quarter. Your land. Do you have a basic?
Yeah.
Joe, being the quick player that is going to look through his library just to make sure, take the chance to shuffle it.
It looks like he's found nothing.
And we can hear both players laughing because Joe does not actually have a basic land to put into play.
And that keeps Joe stymied for the time being.
And on top of that, this is just more time kind of going down the drain as the match goes along.
Well, that's fine. I mean, Jesse needs to keep Joe from getting any kind of traction going.
That's true. That's true.
And he's got 2/1. He's got a Sword Emblem. He's got 2/1 vampires. So we can start using those to slowly pressure Joe.
Slowly. That's the key word. Very slowly. One of the
take the Sorin. So you can cash the Sorin. We can cash Sorin in for an emblem here, and come in for 4. And he blocks. Okay. Not sure why we block there because
just wants to keep his life total high.
All right, so we got multiple verdicts.
Multiple.
I saw 2.
Yeah, okay. He's got protection from.
There's no detention sphere. Okay.
Okay, so but with the Supreme Verdicts in hand, he's got protection from any number of creatures that Joe.
Correct. So it looks like we're back to draw go here. Not a whole lot going on for either player.
Yeah, I mean that's something that can happen when you're playing decks with powerful spells, but you don't.
All right. So according to our handy graphics from Chris Cowan here, that's time, and Jesse is on turn 0. Right. So. This looks like it might go to a draw. But I don't see
looks like we've got a little graphic saying turn 2.
Oh, it's turn 2. Okay.
Okay, so maybe we just didn't catch that in time.
Okay.
Okay, so Jesse's currently on turn 2.
Yeah, so Joe's going to need to draw a pretty good string of cards to be able to just win on the spot here. It looks like he drew Is It Charm. So this is why we save lands, because we can discard out the humans where we find.
Yeah.
There's Is It Charm. Draw 2.
Draw 2, hopefully relevant spells. Discard your irrelevant lands.
I see at least 1 land in there.
We'll see what he does.
Joe's considering his options. There's a
Steam Vents. And probably another land.
Yep.
Yeah, Cavern of Souls.
All right, so it probably wasn't. Yeah, so hopefully you can keep going. Another, is it Charm? Oh, no, Nightshade
No,
Peddler.
Nightshade Peddler.
So this is turn 3. So he's got one more turn after this to finish Jesse off, and
Or else it'll be a draw.
that's gonna require some pretty good cards to get out to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jesse can possibly win here. It looks like he's just playing for a draw.
No, but he did something which was one of the goals of his deck post sideboard. He stopped everything Joe did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a goal. That's a goal of a more controlling strategy. Is Joe couldn't actually put any offense together, and that's one of the major goals of playing a deck like Jesse's playing.
Right. So now,
shoot your guy.
Yeah, I think Jesse could have been a little more conservative with Lingering Souls. Maybe a couple of spirits he could have been attacking with in there. A couple small differences.
So Joe's gonna
draw 2. There's some burial rights, but it's not gonna.
No angel.
That's not gonna be enough. He can get back a like a Thragtusk or something, but in turn 5 is not enough. Yeah, time is up. I'll do it. Jesse takes 2, goes to 16, and this is going to be a draw here.
It looks like it. But both players were playing pretty tightly. They're both doing what they wanted to be doing post sideboard. The problem is that they did it well, and Jesse ended up using the tools available to him to stop Joe presenting any threats.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, and it just ground down. Jesse did what he needed to do. He ground it down. There's the hind handshake. There's the draw.
Well,
and there's some more
both players. They played well.
I think so. Yeah. All right. Good job, guys.